All right, so today we are starting to shear our sheep. The sheep are going to go to their summertime pasture in about 2 weeks. What we do for shearing our sheep is actually not what they do in industry, so just a disclaimer, the way we do it is not how it normally happens. We've got our sheep pulled up on the stands, we've got our clippers in hand, we've got their heads locked in. If we were actual wool producers, we would have a different set of shears. We also wouldn't have the sheep in a stand. We'd pretty much just use our legs to hold the sheep down. It's like doing leg day, but on steroids. So if you want to see how it's really done, I would suggest, since you're already on YouTube, just Google sheep shearing. There's actual videos out there where they do sheep shearing contests to see how fast they can shear them. But the principles stay the same. So what we're trying to do is get their winter wool coat off. It's going to help them stay warm. As you can see, she's panting pretty well today. It's about 75 degrees outside and sunny. So imagine if you were walking around with a stocking cap, gloves, and a winter coat on, you'd probably be hot too. So it's just an animal care, animal husbandry reason why we're taking the wool off. The breeds of sheep that we have are not wool type breeds. We do not care about the quality of the wool. We don't care how it looks when it comes off, we just want it off. If we were producers that were raising sheep for wool, we would go about this much differently. The way we put the bedding down, their housing structure would be completely different. Also, the way we shear them would be different. When you're shearing a sheep for wool production, your goal is to try and get it to come off in one big sheet. So think about if you're peeling an orange, and instead of having a bunch of small pieces of the orange come off, if you could get that whole orange peel to come off in one big chunk, that's what we're looking for. Also, if we're shearing them for wool production, we don't want to have like long pieces and short pieces. We want to have a consistent length. That's what wool buyers are looking for. Challenge with wool production in America is we've got a lot of competition when it comes to our clothing. So we've got synthetic materials. If you think about Under Armour, they don't make stuff out of wool. It's a synthetic man-made material. Over the last year, I've had a chance to travel to Ireland as well. As well as Australia, where they actually have wool production, and they have stores that's just devoted to gloves and hats and scarves. Any type of apparel that you want, they've got it there. It's pretty expensive, but here in America, we don't have that big of a wool market. So what I'm gonna, before we turn the video off, I'm gonna do a couple more shears on her so you can see we are not cutting her skin. If you've ever seen those PETA advertisements where they make it look like people cut up sheep and they're bloody, that's not how shearing actually works. That's just a marketing gimmick. So I'm gonna do a couple cuts on here, end the video, and then I'm gonna give the shears to the actual professionals. I'm just the amateur on the video today. All right, we'll do a couple cuts and then we'll cut it loose. So as I was going along here, I tried to get as close to the skin as possible. There's a safety guard on this so we don't gouge and cut her. I'm trying to make long patterns, long streaks in her, and then as I push forward, I'm also keeping that skin tight, and that helps just make it more efficient when shearing the wool. My hands are really oily now. That's lanolin. That's a naturally occurring oil that the sheeps have from their skin. So if you shear them and naturally, your boots will get nice and oiled up. If you got any questions, drop them in the comment box.